Um, Ladies and gentlemen, uh, welcome back. Another week. Daredevil Born Again, episode 5. And, this, wow. Um, where do we even fucking begin? I mean, I know we said last week Vanessa was dead, but now this time, this is her actual death.
So, first off, shout out to the editors of this show. Every last one of them. Shout out to the showrunner. I thought last episode was gonna gave us more a Netflix feel, and then this one took it. I was in tears. The reason why I was in tears was that was to see Return of Foggy in the flashback. They restructured the episode a death of a character by also giving us the origin of this whole damn series of these characters. They went back minutes, seconds before episode 1 of Daredevil Netflix. And a part of me is questioning, and then Phil, you even said this, a part of me is questioning, was there extra footage that was off, that was deleted scenes, or just in storage for 10 years? Because yes, we're in the age of AI, yes, we're in the age of visual effects and de-aging and barfing, whatever you call it, but it was so seamless to a point I'm questioning, was there extra footage? Phil, what was your thoughts in terms of how the structure of how we're moving along with the narrative of this show in this particular episode and going all the way back? This wasn't just a regular flashback. This was narrative weight that was well balanced. Phil, what was your thoughts?
I mean, it kind of plays like a Christopher Nolan film, or even like this episode functioned a lot like Batman Begins or Man of Steel, in that you had present stuff, and then you'd also get flashbacky things that would reinforce what's going on in the present. And first of all, bringing back, seeing Eldon Henson again was a pleasure. It was a treat. I think anyone who's a fan of Daredevil knows that you don't have this show without Foggy and Matt, right? Seeing Wesley was a really nice surprise, obviously. But the dual nature of life and death in this episode, presented in a way where, again, it's not inconsistent storytelling, but narratively and structurally, that's exactly what it is, because it's flash back and forth. And again, I mentioned it's something Nolan did with Batman Begins. It's something Snyder did with Man of Steel. And I feel like, I'm not saying outright that was the blueprint or the inspiration here, but the parallels are a little undeniable to me. But it's interesting that you have Daredevil and Bullseye having the conversation of like, do we deserve to die? Do we deserve to live because of our actions, our consequences, right? And the episode ends with Bullseye getting, I'm assuming he's probably going to live because of Matt's actions. And then you juxtapose that with the death of Vanessa, where she had the top tier medical treatment. She had Wilson Fisk backing her. She had hospital. She had everything in theory you could have needed to survive. Whereas Bullseye is literally clinging to fucking life, wanting to die, but for some reason he won't. Whereas Vanessa Wilson wants her to live. She, you know, is kind of in and out of it all, but you know, the surgery's a success, but she comes out of it. I'm gonna be honest, I think pineapple juice killed her.
Yeah, J King, I going to bullseye, and going to Phil's point about life and death and how it was portrayed in this episode is also a lot of pushback. I felt a lot of people, you know, especially Christians or people who are Catholic, like of the religion within the show and how it's depicted, you know, but how that's also displayed with a villain who is just like, yeah, I'm done, which other storytellers and just our experience of being in comic book world, yeah, just let them bleed out and die. No, they let this dragged out to make it very complex. And yes, I will say, take a note from Christopher Nolan. I keep going back to this Batman and Joker relationship, but I wanted you to know your thoughts in terms of what was the mindset of Bullseye in this episode when he's bleeding out near death and he's like, just let me go, dude.
It is a very interesting topic to even bring up, because it's like, you know, this is one of those instances where I'm pretty sure there would be a bunch of people, even some who watch this episode, you know, when it's out for the rest of, you know, the world, who will be like, yeah, just let him die. Like, you know, yes, he took out, like, you know, he caused Fisk pain, but it's like he killed Foggy and plus all the other people that he took out in Daredevil season 3. So it's like he's done so much wrong that it's like, why not just let him? But I think that's also, it's not only very much a very Christian thing for Matt to do, but I think it also reinforces something that we talk about when it comes to like superheroes and the decisions. And also even hell, it reinforces something that I remember from Loki, where it's like, you know, the easy thing would just be to burn everything to the ground. Or in this case, the easy thing would be to let him die, move on, you know, oh, you know, he got what he deserved, you know, this, that, and the other. But the harder thing, which is the more heroic thing, is to maybe not forgive, but find some path forward. You know, forgiveness is hard. I think Loki even did say that. So it's like, and hell, I don't know if Bullseye will ever really be forgiven for all the shit that he has done. But, and again, as we said, like the Christians, the hardest thing is to always forgive, even when a part of you would like to just say, no, fuck them. You know, they deserved it. They got their comeuppance, you know, karma's a bitch, all that shit. You know, that is indeed the hardest thing to really reconcile with. And yeah, indeed, like juxtapose it with like, you know, someone who's willing to die, who's ready to die but is not going to, versus somebody who you think isn't going to die and then did within this episode. Is like Jesus Christ. I do want to shift the narrative, talking like for you, Mike, and how do you felt with the connections, because it's like looking at this flashback wise being before the events of episode 1 and tying in these moments like Wesley, or the fact that Wesley knew the new Wesley, I like to call Buck, you know, back then, and just all these connections feeling so seamless to the fact that you forget, yeah, this is technically a different show. I want to know your thoughts on like how they went with that, because it felt so seamless.
It's like, and it wasn't just a fan favorite like cameo. It was narrative weight of actually learning how to connect dots that actually makes sense in terms of, yeah, this is a character that looks like a prototype version of what we had in season 1, but actually no, he's connected. May not by blood relationship, but like he definitely, like, you know, had a connection there, and only makes sense of seeing someone who's in that same position that he's currently in now. And in real time, it's been 10 years. If I like think about it, where were you 10 years ago? Where were we in 10 years ago? And if they could look at us now, but like that person had influence over me, you know, like he, like, because of that connection I made, now I'm in this position that he was 10 years ago. Here I am now, right? I understand this aspect of loyalty and knowing how to tie up loose ends and everything. I thought all of that was just going back to the root and foundation of this show, of how they deal with relationships on both on the hero side and the villain side, and making this a real like crime thriller, but at the same time a drama up in terms of how these characters evolve over time. Even going back to Matt, like even re-sanctifying the moment of episode 1 of Born Again. He wasn't I'm not saving you because I feel better myself. I beat myself up in season 1 because I pushed you off the roof, and that goes against who I am. As much as you deserve it, I was mad at myself, and everyone else was mad. Like Mike, not Mike, Matt, but you know what I mean. It's just like we put ourselves in our own shoes of this. Just like, yo, like what did you do? And that whole situation fractured all the relationships, of the core OG group in Netflix Daredevil. And that's who we are. He's like, no, I'm here having you here at the altar because I'm repenting for what I did, not just what you did. And because of that, I know some people can look at this and see it as cliche, but this is what I love about these comic book characters and the fact that this is serialized in a way. And in as much as I wish this type of writing was on other characters, in Marvel Universe and even within DC, which I know that are perfect for this type of storytelling. But I thought this was just a great balance of what the theme of this was: mercy, right? Yes. If you want to argue about Batman don't kill rule, whatever, the themes of this episode is just kind of showing that in a Marvel lens in a way that I feel that, to your point, Phil, when people argue about with BVS and or Man of Steel with Zod getting killed by Superman and stuff, like there's points of like, yes, one person might do it and another person be like, no, that was wrong. But that's showing the complexity of humanity and and our soul, who we are as characters. And to not cross that line, I think is just being playing it safe. This show is not playing safe at all. I could have killed Vanessa last episode and just be done with it. Well, then we open up in a funeral. No, we're going back to where we started with the art gallery. That's great writing and great directing of the light shining up in and when she's literally seeing the light at this point at the end. But also going back to the first shot, there is no Kingpin without Vanessa. There is no Kingpin without Vanessa. So when you go back to when we saw Kingpin for the first time, was him looking at that painting, that mural. And that was that part of him that died in this episode. That was earned. That the pacing of that was beautiful. And I keep saying this whole season is Chef's kiss. And how we left off, dragging him, Bullseye, when I could have left him like, no, I can't say myself, no, I'm going back. And he went back. I carried you all this way to drop you. And it's like, nah, all right, you know what? You want to die? I'm going to let you die. It's like, nope. And Fred, mercy. And went back. And only to bring him back to Karen. Be like, what the hell are you doing?
Like, Karen is like, look, I wasn't there for all those flashbacks. I don't know what the fuck happened. Get him out of here. Get him out.
Right. And it's like, what's the whole phrase? God forgive, I don't. Like, but shout out to the actress that played Vanessa. Mind you, there was a possibility she would have come back for Born Again at all, because they're recast her. And we would never have gotten this moment without the showrunner of this show to go back and like, nope, I rebuke. No, we're doing this right, damn it. And this will build up for 10 years in 2 different revivals. It almost feel like the Batman animated series. So to be honest, but we got the original animated series, and then we got Batman New Adventures and stuff. I'm like, but it's still connected. Like it just, man, I don't know. It's given like the writing I see on old cartoons. Like, oh, I'm seeing Justice Unlimited, but yeah, I remember stuff from the Superman animated series that tied to this episode. That like the span, like it's woven perfectly. I will say this: what's your guys' final thoughts before we get to the next episode? Because I don't want to waste any more time on this, because I'm ready to get through this. I feel sorry for y'all. Y'all gotta wait a week. All right, I only gotta wait 2 minutes. But anyway, J. King, what was your final thoughts on this episode?
God, I'm gonna have to look back on the season and see what was my favorite. But this is definitely not just one of my favorite episodes of Born Again, but one of my favorite episodes of the entirety of what we have gotten for over 10 years. Over 10 years of the story of Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk and all of these characters, because this really felt like a big full circle moment. And we're not even done with the season yet. And we still have season 3, which they're currently filming right now in New York. So it's like, but this just felt like a huge, like, hoorah. Well, not a hoorah because it ended a death, but a big, just love letter to every person that has been sticking here since practically the beginning. Every person who got a Netflix account and watched Daredevil episode 1, and all the people that have come in since then to this side of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but on TV, well, streaming now. This just felt like a moment that was made for us, and it ends in tragedy. And I know we're about to get into tragedy once we start this next episode. Again, sorry, y'all have to wait a week, but we'll let y'all know how we think. But yeah, no, this is fantastic.
Phil,
I got a little emotional at the notion of why they changed the name from Murdock and Nelson to Nelson and Murdock. The fact that Matt decided to change it because Foggy decided to give mercy to an old bully. Listen, I'm kind of with Mike in the sense of like, God forgives, I don't. Matter of fact, I actually just had a situation where I drove by someone who used to make fun of me, call me dipshit names. You think he's ever apologized? No. I'm gonna tell you right now, this fool's a fucking tweak, and he still calls me a nerd. Grown ass man. I could pull a Daredevil and beat the fucking dog shit out of him if I wanted to. But I'm better than that. I'm bigger than that. But that kind of lesson, that hit, because like Mike pointed out, mercy. And I think that right there, that's the thing that hit me the most, because Matt's moral compass is rooted so deeply with Foggy. And you know, my best friend right now, he's in the Navy, he's overseas, and he inspires me to be the best person that I can be, and I fear every fucking day for him because of the way the world is right now. But that man is a lot like what Foggy is to Matt. So that part hit me pretty fucking hard.
Yeah, and to me, when I was tearing up, was seeing Foggy again. And again, it's like, it's not that I see Foggy again. Like, the feelings of this show reminded me watching it when back in high school, and I'm just remembering my friends. It's the same feeling I remembered in Stranger Things. Why I was tearing up at the end was not because like, oh yeah, I'm seeing the scene, yes, emotional and there, but just like it reminded me I miss my friends. And I'm about to see these friends that I used to go talk Marvel movies with. We go to the movie theater, back in AMC 24, talking during lunch, talking right before homeroom class and everything, all this stuff, and like nerding out for like years. And even who I am now as a film critic and everything, I would not be where I was without them, in terms of those relationships. Because even like my friend, one of them, Josh, he was in theater, and like I never was in theater ever. But again, that where I am doing what I'm doing now, but that's because of him, of our years of that friendship. And now here we are, just in a symbolism going back to this show of Matt is who he is because of Foggy, the mercy, and the pride of no, Nelson and Murdock. You never would have thought, all of that, but it just, I thought that's what, again, how you write true friendship, also grief of who you are now in a season where that person's no longer there, or in our case, lives stripped apart, or living our lives and stuff, but those times have passed, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you're just remembering some of the decisions you make now today is because of those friendships and the relationship that people that you built with for years ago and years to come, right? It's like even our relationships right now, the people I have with you guys and stuff, 10 years from now, I will that's because of relationships I have with you guys that I am influenced in terms of what decisions I make as a person. And again, I'm probably gonna. I'm not probably. I will. I'm gonna do a video essay on the faith of this entire season. I want to probably do 1 or 2 episodes of this because of another one earlier, but I need to watch all the rest of the episodes to see what else is going on. But this is how you depict religion in a very effective way without preaching. You're actually teaching. You know, there's a difference.
Also, just real quick, he's Catholic, not Christian. J. King, I didn't want to cut you off.
I don't no. I know he's Catholic. I'm just saying, but there is.
Okay, yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I know my background stuff, but I have a lot of friends who are Catholic and we have conversations and everything. But I'm just saying, yes, even though different theologies and stuff like that, but the themes of how you do religion, about the faith, about, you know, having a moral foundation to stand on in this wicked world. That to me is what's so powerful, even though you can learn from a lot of different religions and stuff. But this, it tied to this character with Catholicism, and that's very intertwined. You know, same thing with Nightcrawler. I would love to see this type of storytelling in when we do X-Men characters, and especially with him, because again, how you depict faith in television and movies, theatrically, in the mainstream media, again, it's all just like, again, it's story. But I love this episode. I'm ready for it. Episode 6, and again, Jessica Jones has not showed up yet.
Save the best for last, right?
Save the best for last. Anyway, make sure you hit the subscribe button, comment, like, and share. Let us know your thoughts on this amazing episode. Again, make sure you go follow Phil. His links and everything will be in the description box below. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.